All right, we're set to go, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual meeting work session of January 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Please stand when we call the meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic which it
for which stands
one
one
nation,
nation
under God, indivisible,
with liberty
with
and justice for all.
for all. Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice to and to attend meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Bogota Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in Bogota Borough Hall, communicated by letter to the record, filed with the clerk of the Borough of Bogota, and posted on the Bogota Board of Education. Irfin, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Alvarez,
Present.
Mrs. Coles,
Here.
Mrs. Lewis,
Here.
Mr. Miranda,
Here.
Ms. Montgomery,
Here.
Mr. Ortega,
Present.
Ms. Rackett,
Here.
Mr. Chavez,
Here.
Mrs. Van Buren.
Present.
We have the quorum.
Thank you. Also present are Mr. Kennedy, Superintendent, Nathaniel Simon, our attorney, Mr. Irfin Efsel, our School Board Attorney and Business Secretary, and Elizabeth Ruiz, our Assistant Business Secretary. I'm not sure, is Elise Leclerc, is our student rep present, Mr. Kennedy?
No, actually, she emailed me today. She actually has an interview with Cornell tonight, so we wish her luck in that.
Yes, definitely good luck for her. All right. So if we can move on, if I have a motion, may I have a motion, please, to open up for citizens' comments on agenda items only?
Motion, Lisa.
Second.
Lisa, and second by, was
Jose.
that John? Jose, okay, thank you. All right, if there's any members of the public, Mr. Kennedy, if you.
Someone says admin. Is someone in his admin?
Mr. Kennedy, it's Connie Carpenter.
Hello.
Hi. Number 11921-17, the comprehensive annual financial report.
Mhm.
That, once it's been approved, will that be posted in your website?
Yes. Well, actually, we're going to present it tonight, so that you'll see it tonight, but then it'll be on the website tomorrow.
Perfect. And that goes for the same thing for 11921-18, the corrective action plan. Do we also get to see the audit, or do I need to open that?
Irfin, we have.
I couldn't hear the question. Do we, what?
Can she see the audit, or do we have? Can we put the audit on the website, or does that have to be open?
Yeah, we can actually. It is uploaded to the state website. Every district audit report, once approved, it's on that website. But we can also upload on our website too. Not a problem.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Mr. Viola.
Paul?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, yes, my name is Paul Viola. I'm president of the Board of Health of Bogota and the Board of Health of Mid-Bergen, and I'm just monitoring this to see about the opening and the approval and so forth.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else from the floor? All right, seeing no one else coming forward, may I have a motion to close citizens' comments, please?
Motion, Miranda.
Second,
Chavez.
thank you. All right, we'll now move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Kennedy?
Kathy, I just would recommend that after a move in second, you just say all in favor.
Forgive me, I'm sorry. Yes, please. Thank you for the reminder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Is Mr. Vinci on?
I don't see him.
He was supposed to call in, so I don't know if he's called in yet because he's supposed to do the report now. So I don't know, Irfan, if you can reach out to him, and I only have a couple of things for the superintendent's report because I wanted him to give his report during this time.
Wishing you.
So we met with the health department yesterday afternoon, the regional health department in Hackensack Hospital. And we had a conversation about our plan to open up on the 19th. And the health department gave us the okay to begin in-person instruction. They felt that there hasn't been a high transmission rate in schools. I think everywhere we look at one district, they're closing, another district is open all around us. And I can name, both that are going in different directions. I met with the staff today. I know some of them are a little nervous about coming back, but I think the one thing we have proved that when we have been in person, that we have not seen transmission in a classroom when students have tested positive. So my thought is that we were going to try to come back on the 19th with the hybrid model. That would be Tuesday, and follow the same schedule that we have in the beginning of the year when we came back with a Monday, Tuesday, all virtual Wednesday, and then a different cohort on Thursday, Friday. My thought process is this: our numbers are small in the building. So if we have 50, 60 kids in Steen, 60, 75 kids in Bixby, we're helping 140 families that day that need it. So, I think we'll all agree that the best instruction is in person. And we've witnessed that the second best is virtual and then hybrid. But the idea that parents need a place for their kids to go during the day to help with the instruction, I think will be beneficial. Now, every Thursday, the state comes out with a Cali score. Right now, we're in the orange. If we go into the red, we would be required to close. So we've been monitoring the numbers. The numbers are high right now, and that is because of the holiday. And that was our reasoning for staying closed until the 19th. It gave us 18 days after New Year's Eve, that hopefully anyone that was around anyone and any transmission in families would be gone. So, that's my thought process right now. I'm sure people are going to have an opinion. I don't think there's one thing answer I can say tonight that would make everyone happy. I'll accept that. But like I said to our staff today, I want to try at least get back into the building and help the families that we could at this time. If we come back and we have positive cases, then we're going to have to close, then we'll close, and then we'll go back to virtual. But I want the chance to at least try, because the procedures and the protocols that we have in place have worked. So that's my thought process. Also, we have finalized the lease with St. Joseph with an early termination clause, also with the option to purchase the building if they ever put it up for sale. We would have first crack at it. Right now, we began working with the administration team to figure out what grades work best in there. Right now, we know we want to put 2 preschool classes in there because we are expanding the preschools program, that we would hit our maximum of 150 students, I believe it is. But we're looking to see what grades work best there, whether it's a 5-6, a 6-7, or a 7-8. My thought is I would like to try and get 6th and 7th in there because it clears space in all 3 buildings. That's the thought process. So right now, the admin team, we met a couple of times and we're trying to hammer out a schedule, because with travel times and electives and specials, it will create a new schedule that we'll have to figure out. But I'd rather have the big problem of figuring out a schedule and having a place to put kids than figuring out a place to put kids and having a schedule. So that's where we are in that process. And then I'm just still waiting to see if Mr. Vinci was able to get on, Irfan.
The phone call, that 201 phone number.
So that 390?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Vinci, can you hear me? Asking you to unmute.
He's muted, yeah.
But he's on the phone. Okay, oh, we got you now.
I'm here. Okay, do you want me to go through the CAFR? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want where's Frank? Frank, the one with 3 pages on it. If you could present that to everybody, please.
Sure, be happy to. Happy New Year to the board and the administration. So there's one schedule that I did send to Irfan that has a comparison of fund balance and reserves. Keep in mind that as in the last few years, unfortunately, the school audit statewide has been delayed because of information that the state unfortunately provided to every district the week before the holidays. So most districts are accepting their audits in January, even though it's for the 19-20 school year. So the first schedule, and I apologize because my computer video is not working, so I'm on my phone, but Irfan, I believe the first schedule would be the comparison of fund balance and reserves. Is that correct?
Right now, I'm going to send that to Frank. It's not showing right now, but it's going to be in 1 minute.
No, he has it. Frank, put the other page up, please. That one,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. So the schedule provides the board and the public with information as to the balance of the surplus and reserves for the last 2 school years. So if you focus on the June 30, 2020 column, you can actually see that the bottom line reserves and surplus of the district were just under $4.7 million, which is about a $400,000 increase over the prior year. And you will see the various components, and I'll explain each one going from the top to the bottom. The state has a regulation as to how much surplus a school district is allowed to have. Totally different than the municipal and county world. There are no restrictions there, but with school districts, there are. And the calculation is based on the expenditures of a school district. So when you see the label excess surplus, that $600,000 will be the money that is included in the 21-22, which is your next school year budget that the administration is currently working on. That will be a revenue in your budget. Basically, we call that surplus anticipated. The $700,000 excess surplus designated for subsequent years is the amount of money that we calculated at the end of the 18-19 audit, which is in the, and I understand the complexity, which is actually in the 2021 school budget, the current year budget. So that amount of money has been set aside and was included in the budget that was approved by the board. At the end of June, there's a maintenance reserve of $235,000. And you will see the next 2 components, capital reserve, a $1.2 million amount, as well as a $1,352,000. So those total $2,570,000 approximately, which is about a $300,000 increase over last year's capital reserve. And the board has been very diligent in the last, I would say, 6-7 years in using capital reserve to pay for projects, capital projects, without having to go to the voters via a referendum. So basically you're paid for, such as the parking lot improvement in front of the high school, science labs, the facilities down at the athletic field at the high school, by cash, without having to incur debt and without having to pay back any type of principal and interest. So you're pretty much paying cash for your capital improvements, which a lot of districts in New Jersey are doing. And it is financially beneficial, as I mentioned, because you are limiting your future debt load by paying cash. The next amount you will see is encumbrances, 58,000, which refers to purchase orders that are valid, just not approved by the end of the year, or just not filled, I should say. And the unassigned fund balance, which would be the amount that you are allowed to have by the state, is 534,000, which is slightly more than last year. So you can see the various components that make up the $4.7 million. And as I mentioned, it's a $400,000 increase over the prior year. Financially, the district is in excellent financial condition, and you continue to provide resources for your annual capital needs. Now, the last page, and again, Irfan, I don't have my video, but the last page of the synopsis would be the recommendations. The audit synopsis included the one page that summarized, I think it was 4 recommendations that we had. The recommendations were very minor, nothing significant that would impact the opinion that we render on your financial statements, more compliance matters. And the first recommendation was to recommend that the capital outlay budget that the board approved be presented in that format in your internal accounting records. Even though you allocated certain capital outlay budget items in the document, they were combined internally, and we're just recommending that they be allocated the way the state document is presented. The next 2 items dealt with the student activity athletic account. The board has a policy that requires pre-numbered receipts for monies collected, and we did see exceptions where the pre-numbered receipts were not always issued for the monies collected. And the second in that area dealt with the athletic department. The game summary worksheets that is prepared by the athletic department, we're just recommending that the director sign all transmittals regarding the game summary. Again, not a significant item, more compliance. And the 4th recommendation dealt with the application for state school aid. That application's filed on October 15th annually, and it summarizes various student on-roll information. And we are required by the state to compare the application to the internal registers, internal documents, and we found some exceptions. Nothing, again, material, and we're just recommending that prior to submitting, that the application be compared to the various registers and reports that are maintained by the administration. Overall, the records were in excellent condition, and we commend the administration, the finance office, for the condition of those records. If there's any, questions from the board, I would be happy to entertain those.
Does any board member have a question? I think not, Gary.
Okay.
Mr. Kennedy?
You're muted.
Is the public allowed to ask questions? Because I see some hands up.
I don't see why not. Do we want to open again to public comments? Could I have a motion to reopen for public comments?
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Miranda.
Second,
Okay.
John.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. So we'll open to the public for questions specific to this presentation, please. Mr. Kennedy, if you would.
Yep, I see Walter Fowler.
I don't see a hand. Oh, there he is.
I don't know if Paul's hand's up again or if I didn't lower it. He's still muted.
Who is Paul or Walter?
Walter. Let me try.
Can you unmute him from your side?
No, I asked him to unmute. Let me see if Paul wanted to talk again.
Walter seems to be gone.
Okay,
Hello?
what about? Yes.
Hello, it's Paul Viola again. Mr. Kennedy, I just want to make a point of order that you actually did not check with the Board of Health of Bogota or the controlling body of the Board of Health of Bogota, which is Mid-Bergen, which I am also the president of. You check with Joanne Medalowski, who is a very fine and expert person in public health that we rely on. And I checked with my health officer, Sam Yakovitz, and she reached out to Joanne. And I just wanted to state that your comment was, worthy, but not exactly accurate, that the Board of Health of Bogota or Mid-Bergen actually approved you opening up your school.
They never closed us.
Okay, fine. But if you're saying that you stated before that the Board of Health said that you can open up on the 19th, and that is with all due respect, and I'm not causing trouble. I went to the Bogota. I've been in Bogota since 1956. I went through the whole school system. I think you guys are doing a great job. I'm just stating a fact that the Board of Health of Bogota or Mid-Bergen, the controlling body, has not approved you to open, but Joanne, who is a consultant of ours, who we respect very much and could very easily go along with that statement, we have not authorized that. And I have notified the mayor, and he asked me to send a memo to the borough clerk and of the fact, and we are going to forward that. She's going to forward that to the mayor, and the mayor is going to forward that to the county attorney, just to document that fact. And I am very, very willing, ready, willing, and able to possibly review her data and have my health officer, Sam Yakovitz, agree with that and approve it. And I'm saying that in the most congenial way possible.
Okay, because I did reach out to our OEM director today, and I was filling him in all along. So, from the get-go, we've been dealing with Joanne. When we had meetings with Paul, what's his name,
Sam Yakovitz.
Yeah, Sam. It's always been Joanne has been giving us the information on what to do. We contact them when we have cases. So if you guys have an opinion, I'd love to hear it too. But from my understanding, we were never closed from the Board of Health. We closed as a preventative measures just because of the holidays coming up.
Well, that's, with all due respect, semantics. I'm just saying that your statement that the board, if someone stops me in the street and says my child got COVID because Paul Viola, president of the Board of Health, and the board and president of Mid-Bergen approved the opening, that is not correct. So I'm willing to work with you 1000% to just clarify the dialogue that we are having.
Okay, so I guess, is there a way to reach out to you tomorrow?
I will give you my cell phone number right now, and it is 201.
Or do you want to give that? I don't know if you want to give that out over.
That's fine. That's fine. I have nothing to hide. I adopted 2 children from South America, so my life is totally an open book. It is 201-906-4294. And again, I've been a resident since 1956. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm just here to get to get everything in line, just like you did with your financials.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, call me anytime. Thank you for actually, yeah, call me anytime. And it can just be an email, and then we'll be all on board and everything will be great.
So 906-4294.
Yeah, 201-906-4294 is my cell phone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Paul.
Mr. Kennedy, I'd just like to thank Gary Vinci and his group for doing an outstanding job on the audit once again.
Yes.
Thank
They
you.
They work with us excellent. Thank you, Gary.
Have a good
All right.
night. Have a happy new year and a healthy one.
All right, Gary, just
Okay.
before you go, was there anyone else from the community on a question specific to the budget? All right, without seeing any hands, oops, there's a hand. Mr.
Oh,
Kennedy,
someone.
if this is specific to the budget only, please. Mr.
B.
Kennedy?
Arroyo.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I know you're saying to the budget, but what the health department just said, don't give me no confidence in what you said about opening up the schools. You know, I got a wife that works in the system. You know, there are people, high blood pressure, diabetics, and you're saying one thing and the Board of Health is saying a whole other thing, like you guys ain't communicating. You're making a call without them approving it. There's something wrong with that.
I
Well,
think
I'm gonna
there's just a communication. Yes.
Yeah, I've been reaching out to the regional health department, who we've been dealing with from day one. I reached out to the OEM director and been speaking to him. I don't know if there's an issue of opening schools. There's schools open around us. There's schools closed around us. All our procedures and protocols are in place. I'll have that conversation tomorrow.
I understand that. I'm sorry, no disrespect. I understand that. But I hear what you're saying just the same as I'm hearing what he said, though.
Well, they're going to communicate, sir, and they'll clarify it and make sure that
happened already. That should have happened already. No, from what you started, your starting statement, it sounded like you already had that conversation.
I had it with the regional department. I have to have it exactly with the Bogota department. The regional department has been in contact with the Bogota department. So I will reach out to him tomorrow and we will go from there.
Now, will there be another meeting saying that it was approved? Because you're already approving it opening up Monday. Now, what if he says to you now, between now and tomorrow, that you can't open the schools because of numbers?
Then we've been following the health department's recommendations all along. Again, I've been following. We had meetings in the beginning of the year with Sam and Joanne, who's been our guidance all along. That's who we've been in contact with. That's who's been giving us guidance.
You're supposed to be in contact with, though. From
my understanding, it was. So I will find out tomorrow with Mr. Viola. Again, I'm being told if we're following the matrix too. If we're in the orange, we're allowed to be open. If we're in the red, we're not allowed to be open.
Let me ask you, Sarah, I hear you're throwing out colors, orange, red. How close are we to the red? How close?
I don't know how close we are because it's a formula that the state puts up with.
When will you know? And how will you know?
Every Thursday it comes out.
Okay, so it's a possibility that Thursday we could be in the red, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and please, no disrespect. I'm just going by what I'm hearing right now. Two different things. I'm hear what you're saying, and I hear what he said.
Yeah, and I think he just wants to get on board with what we're being told from the regional department. Who, again, that's who we've been speaking with all along. That's who has been our contact at Hackensack. So I will get on board with him tomorrow. Again, listen to me. If I have a health department that tells me to shut schools down, then that's an easy decision for me. Then it's not my decision. And I think that's what's not really understood here is that, you know, they're leaving it up to the superintendents to decide whether to open or not open. So I have districts next to me closed. I have districts next to me open. One family says, why are we not open? The other family says, why are we closed? So I can't win no matter what I do. But all along, we've been taking the health department's recommendation what to do. They recommended we close because of the holidays and family spread. That's what we did. The holidays are coming to an end. When we've been in school, we've had no in-school transmission. So that's where we are in the process. I will make sure I get in touch with Mr. Viola and we will go from there.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes? Yes?
I'm so sorry. I neglected to ask you to state your name and address for the record, please.
Johnny Arroyo, 482 Leonia Avenue, Bogota.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
I see Mr. Viola's hand is up again. Mr. Kennedy.
Hello, sir, from Leonia Street. I did not remember your name. I'm sorry. I just want to let you know that that I believe that this Board of Education Council is doing a fantastic job. We rely on the woman that Mr. Kennedy is speaking to 100%. And I just wanted to make a point of order. And the Bogota Board of Health is a completely independent organization of any part of Bogota. And if my council says we're going to shut down the schools, they will shut down the schools in a blink of an eye, which I do not think at all will happen. And we're relying on the expertise of Joanne. And it is simply a point of order. And I appreciate your concern for every child in Bogota. And I assure you, being in Bogota since 1953, I will follow Joanne's expertise and every other expert involved in this and work with Mr. Kennedy, who does a great job. And you know, if you want my phone number, I'll give it to you and I'll call you personally. But that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
All righty. I see someone from iPad. Can we keep the question specific to the budget at this point, just because our auditor needs to be able to be released from this phone call? We will have citizens' comments again during the meeting, but if we could be specific to the budget to address our auditor, I would appreciate it.
iPad, please state your name and address.
George Nunez, 203 Central Avenue. I understand that you want public comment on the audit, but I don't want my thought to escape me on what's being discussed. I just want to express my support towards the superintendent and towards the Board of Education in managing our school system as it relates to the pandemic. I think it's an impossible standard to reach if we expect them to get everything perfect. My understanding of Mr. Viola's concern, I think it relates more to dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And I think that they're closing the loop on the communication, but I don't think that they're on different pages. And again, I just would like to commend those in charge that are making very difficult decisions with no precedent. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Now, with no further questions, may I have a motion to close citizens' comments?
Motion, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
Second, Chavez.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? All righty. Thank you. Gary, if you're still there, thank you very much for your patience during the extra conversations. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
All right, we will move on with the meeting. This is a work session tonight, so we will not be taking any action. Just for our new board members to know, we will go through the agenda. We will move items to consensus for the consent agenda, excuse me, for next week, except some of the items in finance section, as those resolutions aren't complete yet with the numbers necessary. So we will go in normal order. The minutes as presented there on the work session for December 15th, they will be discussed and voted on at the next meeting. Did anybody have any questions on those minutes at this time? If not, just please, take the time to review them so we can take action on that next week. So moving on to education, we're going to look at agenda items 1 through 5. May I have no motion. Does anyone have any discussion or questions on 1 through 5? If not, we'll move 1 through 5 to consent. Moving on to personnel in items 6 through 10. Anyone on the board have any questions in regard to items 6 through 10? I might say that I see Carol Misa is resigning and she'll be missed. She's been a great asset to the district and a good friend. So 6
Yes.
through 10? Yes. 6 through 10, are there any questions, please? If not, we can move 6 through 10 to consent. That brings us to finance, 11 through 25. Items 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 will not go to consent, but does anyone have any questions on those? Okay, we'll have complete figures and discussion on that then at the next meeting. Then moving from items 17 through 25. Anybody have any questions on 17 through 25? All right, I would like to have some discussion on 25. RFPs will be sent out. Irfin will be taking care of that and having them go out with the, but they will not go out until we approve that at the next meeting. All righty. So we move on to committee reports. Since we have no committee reports right now, I did send everyone my proposed committee assignments. I hope that was acceptable with everybody. Lisa, will that work out for you? Okay.
Yes, Kathy, I just couldn't make it last night because the reason I told you.
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
But you're comfortable with it otherwise?
Sure, no problem.
Great, thank you. Everyone else okay? Yes. Super. I did revise it just slightly. I changed the title to call it the committees and liaisons because technically they're two different positions. And under the liaison positions, I just eliminated the word chair and called it a liaison, which it is. Because a liaison really, it's not a chair of anything. It's just someone to communicate things back and forth, but not represent the board in any way unless totally authorized. So we're good with that. On, I will say on committee reports under the Bergen County School Boards, there was a meeting yesterday. I apologize, I wasn't able to attend it entirely, but I spoke to the chairperson this afternoon. The focus on that was the concern with the rising number of the increased percentage of our students who are failing and the concerns of children moving to the next grade, graduations and so forth. There's a number of districts that are approaching that in different ways as far as how they're grading first and second marking period, so the children aren't terribly far behind, so they can catch up and so forth. So I'm sure that that's communicated among the superintendents as well. The same subject will come up at the meeting on the January 25th, which is open to all board members You should have received an email about it from Bergen County School Boards. It's January 25th. If you didn't and you'd like to attend via, virtually, please let me know and I can forward you that address and the link to get to that meeting. Old business. You all need to have signed. We voted and approved the Code of Ethics, which of course we need to do, we must do, at the last meeting at reorg. Everyone needs to sign something to that for Irfan. If you haven't already, please be sure to be in touch with him and make sure you get that taken care of. And
I'll email whoever I didn't receive so far.
thank you, Irfan. I keep this handy. This is the rules of the road, so to speak. As the auditor said, Board of Education is different than state and county and everything else. Our rules are specific to us. Our limitations are very specific to us. Our board actions, as it states in here, confined to policy making, planning, and appraisal. And we don't want to cross the wrong roads and cause any ethics issues or anything else. So I do ask you all to take a good look at that and review that. Keep it handy. Did anybody else have anything else under old business? No, right? Okay, under new business. I got in touch with Matt Lee. Matt Lee is our field service representative for New Jersey School Boards Association. And for those of you that are new to the board, I believe Irfan had sent you a workshop, a link to a program called the 3 Rs. Our field rep, Matt, is in that. That's an excellent presentation. If you haven't had a chance to review it, it's about an hour and a half, but take a chance, definitely review it. Anybody that's been on the board, you might want to see it too. So maybe Irfan can send the link to everyone again, if you don't mind, Irfan. I've contacted Matt about coming and speaking to us as a board to do a workshop. Well, coming to us virtually, obviously. And he's available on February 9th, which is our next work session. And I think it would be great if everyone could take a look at that 3 Rs and we can build on that. He'll cover some of the things like our authorities limited, be them one way or the other, teamwork, team building, so that we can move forward as one group. He requested that he goes first thing in the meeting, which would be 7 o'clock. But Mr. Kennedy, do you think our meeting might be brief enough that I could ask him to begin at 7:30? Could we accomplish business in that amount of time?
This is next week?
No, the 9th, our work session in February.
Yeah, I mean, unless something
I know we
comes
don't
up,
know.
I can't, I
Right.
mean,
All right, but I
I
think
know
generally,
our agendas are usually at a minimum, these, January, February. Once we get into March, April, we get very busy.
that's why I thought if we could do this in February, it shouldn't be too bad. I checked back last February and I don't think there was much to do. All righty, so I will check in back with him on Friday. He's available, and see if I can confirm that and let everybody know. We can get that set up. All righty, at this time, did anyone else have anything under new business? All right, if not, if I can have a motion to open for the hearing of the public.
Motion, Miranda.
Thank you, Frank. Second,
Second, John.
John. Thank you, John. All righty, if anyone in attendance has any questions.
All in favor, Kath?
Oh, my goodness heavens. Thank you, Nathania. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Nathania. I'll have to circle that one in red. If anyone has a question, if you could please, as Mr. Kennedy calls on you, please be sure to state your name and address. I don't see anyone. Oops, here we go. Mr. Kennedy.
Carmel?
Carmel Burney, 162 East Fort Lee Road. Sorry, I missed the beginning of the meeting. Just in regards to St. Joe's, are you looking to get that occupied this September?
Yes.
2021?
Yes.
Just the pre-K, or you're
We're
that would
looking
be
to
the
see,
6th or
yeah,
7th?
we're looking to see what grades work in there the best. My opinion is 6th, 7th, because it clears space in all buildings, and that's what we're really going to need. But we're looking at schedules right now. I met with admin yesterday. We're meeting again on Friday, and we're trying to hammer this out so we can plan right away.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no other hands, may I have a motion to close citizen comments?
Oh, wait, I see someone's hand.
Mike, excuse me. I'm
Vicky,
sorry.
Vicky?
She's muted.
Yes. Vicky, can you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, for those.
Your name and Vicky, I'm sorry. Name and address, please.
Okay, my
Thank
name is Vicky Shepherd. I am a second grade teacher at Bixby Elementary School. As Mr. Kennedy said, there's no way to please everybody with this decision. I would just simply like to raise the consideration that since teachers in Bergen County have been put in the next wave of vaccinations, if it might be possible to wait for in school until teachers can get vaccinated. It's just a point of information. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicky. Mr. Kennedy, did you want to comment on that or?
Yeah, I right now we're in 1B. My concern is we don't know when they're going to roll that out. So whether that's in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, that's my concern.
Right.
So I completely understand. I met with the staff today to talk about it. You know, it's a tough situation, and we're going to try and make the best decision that we can for all involved. I'll speak to Mr. Viola tomorrow again, but as I spoke with the Bergen County Regional, who they speak to specifically, they felt it was okay with our small numbers to try to get kids back in the buildings. As I said earlier, for every school that's closed, there's 2 opened in the area. So it's not an easy decision, and we're going to try and make the best one that we can. But I would love to know when the vaccination was going to be available to us, because then we would really be able to plan. But seems slow getting out to everybody.
Kathy, can I bring point up? Kathy?
Yes, and also
Lisa?
there's a question and comments. Yes, Lisa.
With the vaccine. So you get the first shot, but then I think the second shot you won't get for another 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. I just
That's
wanted to
my
bring that up. So
right, it's not one
shot.
No, definitely.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
There's
Amy,
a question in the Q&A.
Yes, thank you, Irvin.
Teachers will be in classroom. If we're in person, then the teachers will have to be in the classroom. If we're virtual, they've been given the option to stay home right now because the instruction has been quality, whether in school or at home.
All right. Anyone see any others? No. No. All right. Let's see. No other citizens' comments. May I have a motion to close citizens' comments?
Motion Miranda.
Thank you. Second.
Second Chavez.
All righty. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, do you have anything else before we need to go into closed session?
Not at this time.
All right, wonderful. All right, I will read the notice for closed session. What time have we got? 7:49. Whereas C-23, 231 PL 1975, also known as the Sunshine Law, authorizes a public body to meet an executive or private session under certain limited circumstances. And whereas said law requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting before it can meet in such an executive or private session, now therefore be it resolved that the Bogota Board of Education that it does hereby determine that it is necessary to meet an executive session on January 12th at 2021 at 7:50 p.m. to discuss matters involving personnel, that the matter discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a public meeting. I believe will probably be about 30 to 45 minutes, and action may be taken upon return. May I have a motion, please, for closed session?
Motion, Rocket.
Thank you,
Second,
Vee.
Chavez.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right, board members, what you need to do now is you literally need to leave this meeting. And Frank has sent you a link to go into executive session. Please be sure you close this meeting.
Can we hear each other?
I
Yes.
heard that,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, it sounds much better on this.
Yes, definitely.
Zoom stock isn't going up for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the wrong Zoom stock went up for no reason.
Wow, 37 people hung tough.
I gotta love them. Kudos
Good
to
on
the
it, good
public.
on 'em,
Yes,
good
thank
on
you. Are we missing Kathy?
Yeah, she's coming.
Yes. There she
There
is.
she is.
Are we all here?
Yes.
We're all here? Okay, I don't see any names on my screen. Thank you. All right, if I may have a motion, please, to go back into public?
Motion, Chavez.
Miranda. A second, Miranda.
Irvin, do you have to take the roll again to make sure who's here now again?
I think so.
It doesn't say in the policy that way. We
Okay.
can see everybody back.
Okay, no problem.
All right, and my apologies to any of the public who waited around for us. That was a long conversation. But thank you for your time. And now may I have a motion to close, please?
Motion, Miranda.
Second.
Second, Chavez.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I
Aye.
doubt. Okay. Who said opposed?
9:31.
Nobody did. Nobody did. It was a late hour.
Okay.
It was
Good.
late eye.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you to the
Good night.
public.
Take care.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night,
Good-
all.